Welcome back to this very special edition of Del's Kitchen. Today we are going to make a chocolate cake and celebrating Mum's birthday, which is on the 8th of July. So this is specially for her as it's her favorite cake which I learned at college. Also a big shout out to all of you for supporting Del's Kitchen as a page. We have gone over 1,000 followers, so a big thumbs up. So let's get baking. So today I'm baking a chocolate sponge cake, which is a fatless one, and it's known as Genoese sponge. Before we do that, let's switch on the oven to 180 degrees. This cake is going to have my own twist. I'm going to add salted caramel icing in between the layer, and it's also going to be really moist with rum and sugar syrup. So along with the salted caramel icing, I thought I'd add some brittle, which I will grind down into a powder. In India, we call it chickpea. Any type of nuts will do. I think cashew nuts will go the best. And I'm going to use almond flakes. In this pan, I've got around 6 tablespoons of normal sugar, which has to melt down into a caramel consistency. The reason I'm doing this first is we need to cool it down. Parchment paper or any silicone paper not to get stuck on. Although you should add 1 teaspoon of water to get things going, I'm just going to add a little bit of rose water. Give it a bit of flavor. The key is not to just stir it, just let it boil away. It has to crystallize and then caramelize. So before it turns any darker, I'm going to start putting the nuts. So I've got around 2 tablespoons of almond flakes. Then slowly just spread it out. Genoese sponge is easy to make. So what we learned in college was with every egg that you take, you need 30 grams of sugar and 30 grams of flour. So I have got this cake tin over here, which should be fine with 4 eggs. Other secret is keep everything ready, because once you start whisking the eggs, it's just putting things together. I have greased this with butter, sprinkle a little bit of flour, roll it around so your sponge doesn't get stuck. So in this deep bowl, I have 120 grams of sugar, vanilla essence. I'm going to start breaking my eggs into a bowl to start whisking them. So before I start whisking my eggs, I'm going to make sure that I measure out the flour and cocoa powder. 4 eggs, 120 grams of flour and cocoa powder. Let's put around 90 grams of flour, 30 grams of cocoa powder. So let's start whisking. When you're whisking your egg, just ensure that you move in one direction because you're incorporating air. So don't mix it like this and then go backwards. Whisk the eggs till it looks like custard. We're now ready to mix in your flour and your cocoa powder. Before you put in your flour, make sure you have a nice clean and dry sieve. It's really important that you sieve your flour and cocoa. This is called folding in, but you make sure none of the flour and cocoa get left behind. Just putting in a little bit of warm water. Some people put melted butter, and now your mixture is ready to go in your cake tin. Here's your cake mix ready to go into a preheated oven. It will bake at 180 degrees for around 35 to 40 minutes. All the best! I'm making salted caramel icing for the middle layer of the cake. In goes your sugar first. And this again has to start caramelizing till it gets brown. So this will take around 5 to 8 minutes. I'm also going to make sugar syrup, kind of soak the sponge in so it gets nice and moist. I've got around 5 tablespoons of regular sugar, and with that you need half a glass of water. So let's put in the butter. Half a cup of double cream. Now I'm just waiting for the butter to melt. Keep stirring it. Start with a little. You can always put more if you think it's required. This is how it should be boiling. Salted caramel sauce, which will be put within the layer of your chocolate sponge. The sugar syrup water has also reduced by a great deal. I'm gonna pour in some of my favorite booze. Old Kisses. Let it rest and cool down now. Let's just keep it on a cold surface. Now that we have our salted caramel sauce ready, it's time to crush the brittle. All you need is a Ziploc bag. Make sure you've removed all the air from your bag. I'm quite pleased with the way this brittle has turned out. Let's put all the ingredients that we need. 1 whole bar of unsalted butter. Now because your sponge is already fatless, I really don't mind in going lavish with my icing. I'm using 1 whole cup of icing sugar, and I know exactly how much that is. So important to sieve it. Make sure you put your face away because it tends to powder your face for you. The next ingredient that goes in is your cocoa powder. I have taken half a cup of cocoa powder, and you're always welcome to add more if you feel that the color is not chocolatey enough. And my icing, you might think I'm a boozard, 1 tablespoon. I'm also using a bit of vanilla extract. This container locks itself in place. Go! This has literally taken a couple of minutes. Icing is ready. See the beautiful chocolate color it's acquired. Time to take out the sponge and just check if it's done. You can see the sides have come off from the tin, so I know it's baked. To make sure that it has cooked from the middle, take a toothpick, prick it in, and if it comes out dry, you know your sponge is, and yes, it is dry. Now ideally, once you remove your cake from the tin, you let it cool down completely and then you cut it from the center. Try and get the middle bit. Just ensure that when you cut your cake, you use a lovely bread knife which is serrated, because it just makes your life easier. Get the middle and then just keep turning the cake round. We always keep the top side down in the plate, and I'm not going to do anything yet because the cake is really hot and I need it to cool down completely. Put the sponge in the fridge for it to cool down, so I'll come back to it maybe in half an hour and I'll show you how we can ice it. Our cake has cooled down completely and we are ready to now do the decoration. Now bearing in mind I haven't decorated a cake for over 30 years, so I'm not the best. Let's do this. We have first put the top part of the cake down on the plate, to which now I'm going to add the sugar syrup, which is also mixed with rum, and you need to spread this out. I'm going to add some of chocolate icing. If you have a palette knife like this, perfect for icing purposes. To be honest, I find a regular big knife just as good. I'm going to add the salted caramel. Is to add our brittle. Now if you have the bigger bits, try and keep the big bits of brittle, spread them out. Let's keep top part of the cake and do the same again. Now you have to do this bit gently. Start with small drops of sugar syrup, and don't worry if it spills on your plate. And when I say keep it back, and you let all the syrup. Let's keep chocolate icing. My fellow Hafties from college, please don't hold me ransom to this. This was never my forte. I just made the good sponges. Put some of the chocolate icing into a piping container to start doing the edges. What I'm going to do is take some regular dairy milk chocolate, someone's favorite. Just break a few pieces. I'm going to spread it in the middle of the cake to give it a nice gloss. Use nearly 2 minutes to get this milk chocolate melted. All I have to do is now. So here we have it. This is my beautiful decadent chocolate cake for my mum for her birthday on the 8th of July. Happy birthday, mum. Light a candle for you because I won't be there to celebrate with you. I'm gonna eat your cake. Once again, this is the best bit. I make a wish as well. Wish you a very long, happy and chocolatey life. I wish you could taste this cake. There we go. This really is a wish fulfillment. So thank you very much for watching. Please try making this sponge cake and let me know how it works for you. Happy birthday again to all of you celebrating your birthdays.